Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul for you guys. I haven't done a book haul on my channel in a couple of months, mostly just because I haven't really been buying or acquiring new books. So there was really no point in doing a book haul because I never really had a lot to show off. But I figured I would just sort of put together all of the books that I have gotten over the past like 3 months or so. I got sent a couple of books from publishers, and I also did some like Black Friday shopping, and I went shopping with Candace when she was in town, so I figured I would just show off everything in one big book haul. So first off, for Black Friday there was a big sale on Melville House's publishing website. Melville House makes those tiny little novellas. I got one in my quarterly box earlier this year for Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley, and I really enjoyed that story, and I also really enjoyed having that tiny little novella in my hands. Unfortunately, my order hasn't shipped yet, so I don't have the physical copies, but I thought I would just tell you which ones I got. So I ended up picking up The Haunted Bookshop by Christopher Morley because I really like Parnassus on Wheels, so I figured I would pick up this other one as well. And then I picked up Lady Susan by Jane Austen, which is one of her little short story novella things that Melville House published. Then I got The Eternal Husband by Dostoevsky. I've only read Crime and Punishment, but I loved Crime and Punishment, and I've been wanting to read more Dostoevsky, so this was a good opportunity to do that. And then I got The Death of Ivan Illich? I'm totally pronouncing that incorrectly, I know, by Tolstoy, and so after reading War and Peace I really like Tolstoy, so I decided to pick this one up as well. And then if you guys saw Candace's video on her channel where we basically just showed off what we picked up while we were wandering around Chicago, you've already seen these, but in case you haven't seen that video, while she was in town we went to 2 bookstores, Open Books in Chicago and then Women and Children First. So from Open Books I picked up Paradise by Toni Morrison, and I'm about to drop these books. F. Scott Fitzgerald, Tender is the Night. I really was excited when I saw this edition because usually you don't see the modern classics in bookstores, but since that's a used bookstore, I'm assuming someone ordered this online and then gave it to the bookstore. So I'm very excited to have both of these. And then from Women and Children First, I got State of Wonder by Ann Patchett in this beautiful Harper Perennial 50th Anniversary edition. There's the bookmark falling out. Harper Perennial put out a handful of books in this style where they're all just a solid bright color, a single illustration on the front, and then it has these beautiful stripes, which is actually probably my favorite part of these editions, and then a quote on the back from the book. So I was very excited when I saw this at Women and Children First because I hadn't seen them in person at all yet, so that was my first time, so I picked this one up. And then from Barnes & Noble I picked up The Good Lord Bird by James McBride. This won the National Book Award. Yeah, the National Book Award last year, and so I've had this on my list for a while to read, and then I was at Barnes & Noble just browsing and I saw that they have this program that they're sort of like testing out where you can buy select paperbacks, and then for $4.99 you can also get an ebook version of it as well. And if any of you guys know, I really like reading the ebook and a physical book at the exact same time, so that way I don't have to carry around a physical book with me. A lot of times I get like little opportunities to read at work and I can't really like whip out a book, so I open up like the Kindle app or the Nook app on my phone and then I just read on there for like a chapter or something like that. So the way this works is you buy the paperback and then you get this little bookmark that they can scan, and for $4.99 you can get the Nook ebook version as well, and then you can just download it onto your Nook or through the Nook app or whatever, so you can have both going simultaneously. So the bundling is something that I have been wanting for years. I've mentioned this in videos before, but I've wanted bundling for years. $4.99 is a bit pricey for an ebook in my opinion. I mean, I guess $9.99 is the standard or whatever, but if they drop this down to like $2.99 I would be on top of this so quick. And then I picked up a couple of books from Amazon because I've been Christmas shopping, and so to get my cart over the $35 limit, I've been buying myself some books. So the first book that I got was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematorium from Caitlin Doty, I believe is how you say her name. This author works in a crematory, and she works as a mortician, and she has a web series, I believe, on YouTube called Ask a Mortician. This book is basically just sort of like a memoir and stories from that way of life, which a lot of us don't really know that much about. So I'm very excited to read this. I've heard really good things about it, so it's pretty short too, so I'm excited to get into that. And then I also picked up Long Division by, totally gonna mispronounce his name, Kisei Layman. This is a book that was released, I believe, in 2013, and I feel like basically flew under the radar. I've heard nothing but good things about this from the people who have read it. I originally heard about this from Tiffany from Tiff Reads. She did a review on it. If I can find the review, I will link it in the description below. But it sounds super interesting, and then it was included in this past year's Tournament of Books. But it has really good reviews on like Amazon and Goodreads, and it deals with like race relations, but it also has, I think, elements of like magical realism and things like that in it. Basically, I've had this one on my wish list for a really long time, so I decided to finally just pick it up. And then I got two books recently from publishers. The first one is from Quirk Books, and it is Jane Austen Cover to Cover, 200 Years of Classic Covers. This is like a gorgeous coffee table book that has just different covers of different Jane Austen books in here, and it has sort of like the trends and the different styles of book covers and how that was applied to different Jane Austen books. Basically, this is like the perfect coffee table book that you can just like have sitting on your table and just flip through it randomly and choose a year and see what different editions of Pride and Prejudice or Emma or whatever you land on and see how they're styled and why they're styled that way. And then the final book that I received from a publisher was The Orphan Sky by Ella Leah. This was sent to me by Sourcebooks. Yep, that's the name of the publishing company. This is a semi-autobiographical novel. It follows a young woman in about 1979 in this country called Azerbaijan. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. I googled the country. It is a little bit north of Iran, near Turkey, that area of the world, and it basically follows this young woman who becomes like a classical piano player, but it's taking place during this like highly communist regime in this country, and so it's basically about her art and dealing with the conflicts that are happening in that part of the world during this time period. I have never heard of this book before. It doesn't come out until February of 2015, and so I'm really excited to get into this, mostly because I'm very much into reading books that take place in countries I've never heard of or don't know very much about, which is very much the true for this. And then the final book that I want to show off is this edition of Moby Dick that I recently picked up. I went to my local half-price books because I was giving away some books, and so I always just sort of like wander around whenever I'm there, and I found this edition and I knew I had to have it, so I used some of my credit from selling back books to get this, and I'm super excited. This is the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition, so it has this beautiful illustration on the cover. It has the zoomed in illustration of what I'm assuming is the whale's eye. It has this on the spine. It has the deckled edge pages. Moby Dick is one of those books that I think I want to tackle in 2015. Spoiler for a future New Year's resolutions video, but I was very excited when I saw this because, yeah, Moby Dick, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen in 2015, so you guys can look forward to that. So yeah, those are all of the books that I have received or purchased over the past couple of months. If you've read any of these books, feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of it, or if you're really interested in hearing about any of these books, I will try my best to sort of like prioritize reading them and get them read sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.